Can we stop making fun of Kiais? I think education is the best remedy for tribalism, and there is a ton of that happening in martial arts right now. So to start with, what is a Kiai? If you heard of Aikido, the name is actually comprised of the same Japanese characters as Kiai, but in a reverse order. Ki means energy, or in Chinese you've heard of Qi. Ai means to join, so it makes sense a style like Aikido means the way of joining energy. So we all know the stereotypical reasons why we Kiai, the fighting spirit. You're trying to trick the brain into getting out of the fight or flight mode and face your opponent. Another common explanation for a Kiai is you Kiai when you strike so that it kind of tightens your core just in case you get hit.
That's the old shootbox camp. Rafael Cordero out of that camp.
In weightlifting, you see a lot of people yell or grunt when they're in a heavy lift or they're trying to push through something. What I wanted to highlight today is actually a little combination of all of those, but something that I don't see as utilized as much in martial arts. And that brings us here. You guys want to think when you throw a punch or any strike and you're thinking about adding a Kiai, even if it's inaudible, you want to think about it as creating a solid chamber in your torso so that when impact is made, your structure is not the one that's going to collapse. If you think about two cars hitting each other, right? And one car is made out of aluminum and the other car is made out of steel. Once they collide, the steel car is gonna just crumble the aluminum, right? So if I throw a punch here and my structure is weak, let's say I'm misaligned and I throw the punch here and maybe my wrist is weak, right? That wrist is the one that's gonna fold. My body's gonna fold as the energy comes back to me, right? As this thing bounces back. But if I created a solid structure, you can do that by holding your breath. Then you are actually the solid structure that collides and pushes through. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today with the Kiai, right? So the Kiai isn't something that's a high audible type of thing that's in your throat. It should be more like a low grunt, like a low cough. So when you're coughing, you're not coughing up here, right? You're coughing like down there, or like down in your lower abdomen. And that's where the solid structure happens. Imagine a weightlifter that wears a belt around their waist for squats, right? That belt allows them to push their stomach into that belt and create a solid structure, a solid cylinder for themselves to squat down and come up without any deviation on that line. So if I were to emulate that with a Kiai, when I throw the punch, everything aligns up and everything tightens at the same time, right? Versus going like really high, or versus going Kiai and then throwing the punch, right? So everything has to make impact at the same time. And that works with every single strike as well. If you throw a strike up here, and let's say your breathing's misaligned and you take a deep breath in, like that's gonna make everything kind of loose. But if you exhale, everything's super strong, right? So same thing with any type of karate strike that you do, your Kiai goes in line with the strike. And you see this a lot also in other sports like tennis. When people swing at the tennis ball with their racket, right upon impact, they're making a noise. Or they serve, right upon impact. It's the same thing with your strikes, right? That's going to help solidify our structure so that upon impact, you are the solid structure and the thing you make contact with is the one that crumbles.